Good morning guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is a new series I've started on the channel called Practical Minimalism for Families, and today I'm going to talk about the kitchen and how I started there first in regards to possessions, I guess you could say. Minimalism for me is about more than just possessions, but it's a huge part, so I am going to talk about that first on this journey in different areas of the home as a family, what's practical, what's not practical for us, and then you guys can decide for yourself what's practical for your family, and you can start putting in these sort of steps into simplifying your life as well. If you haven't already, go and check out the first video in this series. There'll be a playlist on the channel here, or a link in this blog post if you're on the actual blog, that is more of an introduction to this. So I tell you what I think, you know, minimalism is about for us. Because everyone does have different ideas on what minimalism is about, and so, which is why I wanted to start a whole practical minimalism for families, because you know, for us as a family and things, practical is not owning 10 things and that's it, and the kids not having any toys at all, that kind of stuff. So I just hope that this series will be an encouragement to other mums to make some changes in their life. Just really, honestly, I just want to help people, you know, have less stress on themselves and less of the day-to-day rat race, and more of just enjoying and just fulfilling your purpose, you know, and your passions and things. So yeah, that's why I started. So go and watch that video. I probably rambled a little bit too long on that video, but I'm pretty passionate about it. So I've wanted to talk about this for a long time, and I have been on this journey for probably 2 to 3 years now. So I just want to share all this with you. But anyway, today I'm going to talk about the kitchen. So when I started the minimalism journey for us, I did start it off thinking obviously about me as a mum, busy mum, because I do a lot of things in the house, I do a lot of things for the family. So I was the most stressed. I had the most anxiety about things because, you know, it was my responsibility to be cleaning up and cooking and all this stuff. Johnny goes to the bakery overnight and works shift work and stuff, so he sleeps during the day, a lot of the day. And then when he wakes up, you know, we can spend fun times together as a family. But for me, what was holding me back was he would wake up and I'd want to spend time together as a family, but I'd be constantly running around and trying to do all these jobs and trying to keep on top of things. And I felt like I wasn't having that quality time with my family. He was enjoying life with the kids and doing things, and my head just wasn't there. Even when we were together playing and stuff, I was thinking about the next thing I had to do, the next load of washing I had to do, thinking about the anxiety of all the dishes I had left at home, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where I was at and where I started to make the changes. So as a mum, there was three areas that in my head were like the devil. I needed to really focus on first. One is the kitchen, 2 is laundry or clothing is what I mean, and 3 was kids' toys. There were the 3. If you think about your life as a mum in your house, what are the main things that you have to deal with? It's those 3 things. So I decided in my head that the kitchen was the first place to start, because also at the time I started doing meal planning, and I realized meal planning was about more than just writing down what meals we were having for the day. There's a lot more to it if you really want it to be, you know, give you results and have purpose, because if you're just planning the meals but you're not actually doing all the other steps to do with it, it's pointless. You're not saving money, you're not saving time in the kitchen, you're not, you know, having more of getting that time back and being able to do other things, you know. So when I started meal planning, I realized my kitchen was really holding me back. So things with the kitchen were, I had too many things in the kitchen, I had constant dishes, and I was just like, why? I realized I had just too much stuff. Things were cluttered, unorganized, and just on a constant wheel of like cleaning and dishes and prepping and all that kind of stuff. So the kitchen was where I started off first. I went through the kitchen and I decided things that I wanted, things that I needed. The things I needed were things that really had a purpose, and I couldn't live without. There were things that no other utensil could actually probably do that job for me, or appliance could do that job for me. And that's where I started. And the things that I wanted were the things that I thought I wanted. They were things, you know, people had given me or had seen as a, you know, like who doesn't want the fun popcorn maker? But do you really need it? No. Or the hot dog maker. Like, put your hot dogs in a saucepan and cook them in water. Like, why do we need these things? We need these things apparently because advertisements tell us so. So we're consuming a lot more things in the world by buying a lot more and creating so many more things that, you know, just things in the world that we don't need. And it's just overtaking the planet, in my opinion. That probably sounds exaggerating, but I think a real eye-opener for me was when I started doing some donations, and I drove to the Salvos, which is, what would you call it in America, like a thrift shop, I guess, and I drove around the back to donate, and they have a big warehouse, and they open the doors to get my stuff, and oh my God, I want to go and film it. I wish I could film it for you guys. I don't know if I'm allowed to, but to show you exactly what's there, what people just, you know, donate and get rid of. And while donating's amazing because it helps, it raises money for homeless people and people in need and all that kind of stuff, the amount of stuff in the back of like a Salvos store or warehouse is insane. Like, it's just piles and piles and piles of things in huge crates that are just sitting there, and I just think, oh my God, you know, how much of this stuff was stuff that someone had for 2 months and realized they didn't need or didn't want, or the kids weren't playing with, you know, that kind of stuff. It was just a real eye-opener to me. So doing that, I realized how much as a consumer I was buying and taking and not actually needing, really. So yeah, that's where I start off with the kitchen. So I want to talk about and show you guys my kitchen, how I have it set up now, how I do less dishes, and I will show you my pantry today too. It's not really part of this part of it, but I'm going to show you it because it is a whole other sort of topic, because we all live in different areas and have different circumstances. So I want to do a different video on that, but I will show you that. But really, I just want to show you my kitchen. I have a large kitchen, and I love it because it's spacious and just gives me room to cook, because I do love cooking, so it's great. So, you know, really the more cupboards and things you have, the more things you tend to fill in them. So that was a real thing I had to sort of learn and tackle at the time. But yeah, I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you a kitchen tour and show you what I have left and just talk about every section a bit more. But I would just encourage you guys after this video to go through your kitchens and really think about what you need, not what you want, but what you need, and just toss anything that is just not practical, has no purpose, and that you can, like, one of the big things is if you can do the same job, like the hot dog maker, if you can do the same job with a different thing that does multiple things, is so much better. Like, I even got rid of a sandwich press. I got rid of a sandwich press and people go, oh my God, you got rid of the sandwich press. Because it was something that we cook cheese toasties in the pan. Like, we just butter the outside and cook them in the pan. It's the same thing. Like, we don't need a sandwich press. So, you know, a pan is something that I can do multiple things in. So for me, it has purpose, and yeah, it's just more useful and more practical as well as a family to use. So yes, I'm going to show you things today, and yeah, I just encourage you to then go through your kitchen and make some choices of your own and sort of see, you know, what works for you as a family. And the one thing to remember is don't feel so much pressure. Like, if you're really having anxiety about things that you don't want to get rid of because you're unsure and things, you just put those things away and put them aside, and then spend the next month or two going about your day and doing what you're doing. And if you need that item and you pull it out and you continually use it, obviously you would keep it. But if it turns out 2 months later you never used it, get rid of it. Like, that's one of the big things I've done. If I'm nervous about something, getting rid of something, I'll keep it just in case for like 1 to 2 months, and that's it, and then I'll get rid of it otherwise. So yeah, that is just a little tip to sort of help you guys when you're going through your kitchen and every other part of your house as well. So yes, anyway, let's get onto the kitchen tour and talk a little bit more about what I have and what I don't have. Okay, so this is my kitchen. It's quite large. It's very open and spacious, which I love. Like I said, I like cooking, so I like all the bench space. And I like having areas to put things and be organized. The one thing that happened to me is when we moved into this house, which was so long ago now, 8, 9 years ago I think, was because there was so much more space, I would fill it with more things, which is a no-no. Don't do that. Just because you have a bigger space doesn't mean you have to fill everything. So I've definitely cut everything down now, and I know everything has a place, everything has a purpose, and yeah, things are just so much happier and more clean and organized and less cluttered. So I'm going to go through everything here for you now, but I will probably, actually I'll show you the bench tops first, just so I can see. So I try to keep the bench tops quite clear now. There are a few things that I did get rid of, which you'll notice I don't have a dish rack there, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I try to keep the benches just really minimal, with less things on them, because I just found it feels more clean to me and organized. So it's really great, and it's such an easy cleanup to do. You're not moving around a lot of stuff. There are things like over here that I've kept out that we use every single day, multiple times through the day. So for us, that's practical. That's practical for me to have this out. It's not practical for me to pull this toaster in and out of a cupboard every day to make toast, or you know, coffees and things like that, like a kettle multiple times a day. It's not practical. So that type of thing is what I've left out for us as a family. But things over here, like the dish racks, not there. We don't have salt and pepper out. We don't have, you know, I don't have like a utensil thing sitting here with all spoons and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of where I got rid of stuff. So first area here is, this is actually a cool area because I can actually pull this down and hide, that if I want to. There's cords there, but I can pull it down if I want to. We tend to keep it up because we do use this area so much. But this is where we keep our toaster and kettle. This is not a phone. This is just another contraption thing that Johnny's doing with, he's doing like a survey thing for a company where we scan our groceries in and things. It's a whole other story, but that has to stay there because we've got to keep it plugged in and charging and things. But otherwise, this area is just for the toaster, the kettle, and over here I just have tea, coffee, and sugar for us. I do have things like this, which obviously I don't need, but for me, I feel like it gives these things an area to sit and just be there and clear. Plus, honestly, it gives me joy. That's why I've kept it. I feel like, I don't know, I love marble. I do. I don't know whether it's just the texture of it or the color, I'm not sure, but I love it. So having that there is really wonderful and I enjoy it, so that's why I've kept it. Same with over here, like a lot of people, if you're a minimalist, they won't have, you know, flowers or anything on their benches. They'll just have nothing. For me, because my kitchen, obviously, is so dark, like with the dark back splash and things like that, I really wanted something like white and bright. I love light, white and bright. So I wanted this here to sort of give me that, and it just makes me feel happy when I'm in this area because I am here a lot. I do a lot of things in the kitchen, and this is another thing I'll talk about. This is a cake rack. If you watch a lot of my videos, you'll probably notice me using that for my computer a lot of the times. This is where I work. I have a laptop, so I do a lot of my work in the kitchen while I'm cooking and doing dishes and things. So I have the laptop sitting on there, so it's not on the bench and getting dirty and things. And obviously with a laptop I can work anywhere in the house, so then later on I take it to the couch and work, but I always have that sitting there. To me, it's not so much of a clutter, but I can fold it up and put it away if I want to. So yeah, that's why that's there. This is obviously my oven. The other parts of the bench top here, this is a knife block, which obviously we keep here so the kids, well, Joseph doesn't go to it, Isabella doesn't think so, think to do it. My knives, yeah, they look like this from the dishwasher. I need to get a new set, I think, but it's the dishwasher eventually. These are Kmart ones, sort of took off the coating, and now, like the black coating, and now it's just made it look like that. Anyway, they're fine, they're clean, but that's where they live. I think because they're black on black, Isabella doesn't think to even go there, so it's good, but I definitely can't have knives in the drawers here, so that's why they're there. Stovetop, like I said, just something nice for me and pretty. My work area, that is just a charger there for me to charge my camera battery, so that's why that's there, and I pull that out and put that away at times. Obviously my house is not perfect. I've still got dishes to do today from this morning. So they're there waiting for me. But with the dishes, I got rid of the dish rack. I got rid of the soap dispenser and cloths and stuff, and I've put them in here, which I'll show you in a minute. But I got rid of the dish rack because I found having a dish rack, you tend to, you know, do some dishes and then leave them sitting there all the time. Having this, I will still put plates and that on here and cups and have them upside down, but I tend to, through the day, a lot more pick them up and put them away once they're dry, because I know how clean it looks now, like not having that. So getting rid of the dish rack was a real bonus, and helped me sort of motivate me to sort of pack up those dishes. So I did get rid of those. Over here I have I actually have this little rack here. This was from Kmart because I wanted some height off the bench, a place to put my paper towel because I use that quite a lot, and I didn't want this sitting on the bench because it gets wet here at times with dishes and stuff. But just having it elevated, I like to have, oh, Isabella made me this for Mother's Day, isn't that cute? Little plant. I'd like to have some more plants or something here. I think that was my idea behind it, but I haven't done that yet. So I'm always on the hunt trying to find one that I like to put there. So that's what that's about. And again, just having it off the bench, I can clean under here so easily. I'm not lifting up these things all the time and trying to move around them. It's just really quick and easy to sort of clean up those areas. So having a little shelf like that is awesome. Our microwave is here, our dishwasher is here, which obviously I love the dishwasher. Let's see what's in here. I assume they're clean. Yes. So not a lot of dishes, which is really good. This is just from yesterday, from last night. So having less dishes, which I'm going to show you in a minute, definitely has made this not pile up as much. I used to do dishes, honestly, well, 2, maybe 3 times. I used to spend a couple of hours a day doing dishes. By the time you loaded them in, unloaded them, dried them, put them away, all that kind of stuff, because plastic, although this looks pretty dry today, but a lot of the time, see, you've still got water spots, so you've still got a dry plastic. Yeah, I spent so much time doing dishes. Now I do it like once a day, which is awesome. Obviously my fridge is there, more things to donate, which I've just cleaned out through the house. And this is our pantry, which is quite little. If you're a VIP member and you watch the Meal Plan With Me videos, you would see my pantry quite often. But this is what it looks like. I have a section down here which Joseph needs to clean up. This is our recyclables area. I have a big tub there which has stuff in it, and he will get that a few times a week and just empty it out. So this is where we keep that. And these are just plastic bags, you know, that we keep for, well, really we keep those for pooey nappies right now with Isabella. But we use bags for other things, obviously shopping and, you know, just whatever else we need bags for. So that's where they live. But otherwise, this is our pantry. That's my meal planning sheet, my meal planning folder. This is where I keep it, which has all my printables and stuff in it that I use for meal planning. But otherwise, I have everything really organized into sections and obviously into tubs. I have a very small pantry, but I have bits behind it that I can, you know, store things as well. So I used to, with the pantry, and I will talk about this more in another video, I used to, with the pantry, have everything out, like as you do, and it was so messy, and it was just out of control all the time. Things would get thrown places in the wrong spot. Now, this is just more functional. I have tubs for different things. Biscuits, that could be dry biscuits, sweet biscuits, rice cakes, that type of thing. I have a snack bucket, I have onions and potatoes. Yeah, I had just, everything's just more functional now, and I use it, my background is management in retail, in food and business and stuff, so you know, all about rotating food and stuff. That's what I do here. The buckets at the front are what we're using for that week. Anything behind is for restocking and the weeks ahead, because I do shop monthly. So anyway, that's what my pantry looks like. So much easier, so much more organized and cleaner, but I will talk about that in another video. So the first area that I actually tackled in the kitchen was the everyday dishes that we use. So plates, bowls, cups, knives and forks, any other utensils, that kind of stuff. I thought, because what would happen would people would use, you know, a different cup all through the day. Like they'd have one cup and then they use a different one when that was dirty, and instead of washing it or reusing it, because we had an abundance of things, so it was just easy for someone to pull out a new cup and things. So that's where a lot of dishes were created all the time, because people were being lazy and not reusing things. When I say people, I mean Johnny and I, really. The kids not so much, because they just weren't at that age where they would just keep pulling things out. We were doing food prep and things for them, so it was really our fault. So that was the area that I tackled first. And what I did was I just left in our drawers and cupboards a certain amount of you know, plates and bowls and things that I thought that we needed, and the other excess, like a lot of it I got rid of because we just didn't need that much, but I did keep extra of things, because obviously if people come over and we have dinner with other people, we need things. So I do have a cupboard, which I'll show you in a minute, of where I store that stuff. But otherwise I cut everything right down. So now when we run out of, you know, we need a spoon or something like that, we just wash it if we don't have one. Just wash it and, you know, do that. And for me, it was easy for me to get into this. For Johnny, not so much. I remember Johnny saying to me, you know, oh, but I've got no spoon to do my coffee. I'm like, well, wash one. I was like, wash one. Like, he was complaining because there wasn't enough spoons, but really we did have a lot of spoons. It's just that people used them through the day, and it was just a simple thing of just picking that up and washing it and doing it. So I'm going to show you how much of everything we have. For you need to do what's practical for your family. If you've got 8 people in your family, you think about, you know, what you really need for that amount of people. For us, we have 4 people. We have 2 small children. So we do have not only china and glass things, but we have plastic things as well, which Johnny and I actually use as well. So yeah, that's where I've got enough of everything that we need. When the kids grow up, obviously we probably won't need a lot of plastic stuff. They can just use what we use. So I will cut it down even more when they get older. But let me show you what I actually have now. Okay, so for us, this is where we keep our dinner plates, our little, what are these, like side plates, sandwich plates, I guess you could call them, and bowls. So Isabella doesn't use these ones a lot. She uses plastic, but I do have 4 of each out generally. So that kind of covers breakfast for us, and into lunch as well. And then I'm only doing dishes to not wasting a lot of water, like once a day. So there's enough things out for the day, and that's it. So this is where I keep those. Our actual spoons, teaspoons, for making coffee and things are actually stored in here, because our kettle and that's here. It just was more practical to have that here, because my utensil drawer is on the other side of the room, so I'll show you that in a minute. So that's where I keep these. I don't really have a number of these, because obviously a lot of coffees and things are made through the day. We might use these for snacks, yogurts, that kind of stuff. So we do keep a lot of teaspoons. Well, I say a lot, but there's probably 6 to 8, so it's not really a lot. It's there. We keep the salt and pepper in here just because this is where we sort of would use it near the oven and things, and for dinner and stuff, so it's kept there. In here we usually also have, so this is Johnny's coffee cup, and then I usually have 1 white cup and I'll show you. So I have my coffee cup here that Joseph gave me, so I love this because it was his first present that he actually picked out himself from school for Mother's Day. So I have that there, and then I'll have another white cups, which I've had coffee in this morning for myself. So this is good to have in case I have a visitor over, then I can pull that out for them. But that's all I keep up here, and then also 2 drinking glasses up here for Johnny and I, and that's it. On this side, I've actually got all our hair stuff for Isabella and I, pretty much. Like, I do my hair in the bathroom, but for her, I just found I was always doing her hair in the lounge room, the kitchen, that, so it was easier and more practical to have stuff here. Plus, having it up, her hair ties and the sprays and stuff especially, she would get into it. So me having it where she can't get it was just more practical. So I keep her hair stuff up here. There's nothing really up there apart from a couple of like my camera cards and stuff like that. So it's pretty empty there. Here is the utensils. So I usually in this drawer will only have 4 spoons, 4 forks and 4 butter knives. I have a whisker which I use quite often for mixing up sauces and things. A rice thingy so it doesn't scratch, it's plastic so it doesn't scratch the rice cooker, which the rice cooker, apart from the kettle and the toaster, is the only appliance I've actually kept. I got rid of everything else. Oh, and I have a NutriBullet, that's the only other thing. But otherwise, yeah, can opener, beaters, and I keep this big spoon because it's bigger. So I use it for a lot of things when I'm cooking. So that's there. Pastry brush as well. And then down here I have just the utensils I use pretty much every day for cooking. This one here, this spatula I use for a number of things, but it is used for cakes and stuff as well. And then tongs. Tongs were hard for me to get rid of, believe it or not. I had so many pairs of tongs. I had like 6 or something, 6 to 8. I now have 3. I have 2 little ones and I have a big one. And the reason I don't just have 1 pair is because when I'm cooking, I might be using this for meats, and then I'll use this one for the roast potatoes and stuff, and then I'll have another one for the salads that we usually always have with dinner. So yeah, that's why I have that many. So this drawer here is usually where I keep all the plasticky things. In here I keep the kids, I say kids, but Joseph pretty much uses the adult stuff now, but just one set of, or a couple of sets, there's really 2 sets of knives and spoons, not knives, forks and spoons for Isabella. She's got her own little special cup there which we use sometimes. The kids both have one of these special cups for dinner, and I like these cups because Santa always gives these cups at Christmas usually, because they have a lid and they don't spill them, which for Joseph's not so bad, but he can have it in his room or anywhere else, and Isabella can too, and I'm not worried about her spilling it. But otherwise we have bowls and plates in here. If you haven't seen the video I did about a week or so ago of a special delivery, it was called, I ordered these from IKEA because I saw another mum with these, and I thought, I'd been on the hunt, I tried so many different plastic bowls and plates and cups, and I couldn't get the right size, the right quality, all of that. And then I saw her using these, and she'd used them for like 7 years. So I got online on IKEA, because we don't have IKEA here, and I ordered them, and I love them. It's like $2 for a set of 6 bowls, $2 for a set of 6 cups, and $2 for a set of 6 plates. And let me show you. Here they are. So they've got a good lip on them. I like these. I have... So there was a set of 6, but I have 4 of each out. Johnny and I will use these too. I don't know what it is about plastic for me, but I find, especially for snacks or, you know, we're just having a sandwich for lunch or something, I tend to use these because I feel like they're just so quick and easy usually to hand wash and clean up. And they're less clunky and stuff in the dishwasher than the, you know, the porcelain stuff. So I really like them, and that's why I have 4 of everything out there. So we have those. There's Joseph's special drinking cup. They're about, oh, these are about $10 usually at, I think they're that Zach brand at Big W, or in the supermarkets sometimes. But yeah, these are the size, oh, that's Isabella's milk cup. These are the size of the cups, so they're great. They're perfect for us. This cupboard here has all my extra stuff. So you can see the extra plates and bowls and things from that plastic set is sitting there. Extra porcelain stuff. That's our salad bowl, which we always have in the fridge. I'm about to fill that up with more salad today because I've just washed it. I have spare knives, forks, spoons, cups, glasses, more of your wines and champagnes, which we hardly ever use, but they're here in case we need them. That's my friend's bowl I need to give back. The salad bowls, I call them salad bowls because those serving bowls there I use for salads in summer, which I've kept. And these are the bakeware that I don't use often, but I need them, so I keep them here in this cupboard. So, and that's just a cake stand that I made for Isabella's birthday, but I'm going to keep because it cost me a fortune, and I know I'm going to use it again. So yeah, that's all I keep as spares. So the reason I have this cupboard is just if we have extra people over, I have extra things that I can pull out and use. Like Isabella's birthday, we needed extra coffee cups for all the people here. So, you know, I just pulled out extra stuff, and this is what works for me. And I did use this cupboard initially to put things that I was scared to give away. Oh, the Santa back there is for Christmas time. It's the Santa cookie jar. So we wanted to keep that. The kids really love it. So anyway, yeah, I have this cupboard. Initially, it was to put stuff in and decide until I was, you know, not scared to let go. But now it's just a really useful storage space for the things that we need but don't necessarily have to have out every day. Other baking things I have, this is my sort of pot drawer, I guess you could say. So I literally only have this saucepan here, which you can see here. I use this a lot for cooking and can do toasted sandwiches in it, that kind of stuff. I have one pot, one saucepan. I keep that saucepan because this fits on it. So usually when I'm doing like mashed potato, I'll put potato in the bottom, and then in here I'll put peas, corn, carrots, all that kind of stuff on top. And that's all I have to cook with besides this bigger pot here, which is awesome. So I use either that or the pan for different meals depending on what I'm making. These are from Kmart. These sort of, they're supposed to be like a non-stick. They're awesome and quite affordable. I think it was like $20 for this and $25 for the pan or something. And they come with lids, obviously glass lids, which is awesome. So yeah, that's all I need for cooking. That's all I use. There's the lids here. I try to stack this drawer, if you can see too, because it gets crazy in here obviously. I try to stack things up so I can see stuff. It's just easy in the pulling. It's so loud when you're pulling stuff from the bottom and clang, clang, clang. So that's what I do here. But over here, what have I got here? Oh, the tray. It's just a baking tray. I use that quite often. I'll line it with baking paper, and I pretty much use that every day actually, and cook different things on it for dinners and stuff. I have been using this muffin tray quite often, that's why it's here, and obviously my one cake tin, which I use for cakes and slices and just multiple things. Yeah, they stay in here because I use them very often, so that's what all I've got for baking, and that's what works for me, and it's practical. And like I said, I've kept things, I had a lot more pots and I got rid of them because I realized what I didn't need. Like I said, you know, didn't need a hot dog maker. I use this pot and can fit a lot of hot dogs in there and cook them up. So yeah, when you're going through your drawers, really think about items that you can keep that do multiple things and have, you know, more purpose that way. So my other drawers here is where I keep all my plastics, which I'll show you. So that drawer there was the one with the kids one. This drawer, I need measuring cups, I need measuring spoons, I have a hand mixer, that's all I use for cakes and doughs and things like that, a grater, which I use quite often for carrots and zucchinis, and what else do I grate? Cheese, that kind of stuff. And I have a NutriBullet, which I don't use often. Oh, and that's just Joseph's lunchbox money that I keep in here. It's just spare change I throw in there. So when he has a lunch order, we just get money out of there for there. I just put it in there so the kids don't find it, honestly. But yeah, I have a NutriBullet too, which is actually handy because I can make smoothies and things with it, but I can also puree a lot of other things in there too, so it's quite useful. I did have a blender and I got rid of it because I couldn't do multiple things with it. This is amazing. I do a lot of different things with that. The next two drawers are containers like these, which have these ceiling lids. These are all from Kmart. I love them. I use them a lot, so I have a lot of different sizes. They're smaller ones. In here are more your bigger ones here, which again, if you're a VIP member and you watch my food prep videos, which are on the VIP lounge, I use these a lot for my freezer foods and stuff like that. So there's a lot in the freezers at the moment and, you know, being used for that, but this is what I've got out at the moment. So they're really handy for keeping leftovers and putting cookies and cakes and all sorts of things. So yeah, we keep them. Again, I try to sit them up like this now, so they're not all over the place because it gets crazy with lids and so forth in here. But yeah, this is what works for me. Oh, and these, if you're wondering, this is just, you could buy a roll of this at the cheap shop, and I just cut up and put it down. I feel like, well, it's easier to stand things on. Obviously, they don't slide, but also it just keeps it a lot neater and cleaner. And you can clean under them, no worries. This drawer here is usually, yeah, snacks. So I do have this, which I love, this snack, you can see that. I do a lot of, especially on school holidays and weekends, I'll fill this with lots of cheese, bickies, vegetables, dips, all that kind of stuff for the kids, and I'll have it outside. They love it. Love, love, love it. I do have a lot of jelly cups at the moment because I may be making jelly in these, but you can store like fruits in here and yogurts, that kind of stuff. These were $2 for a pack of 6, I think, from Kmart, and these have been great. We've just finished off the last of the jelly and we're about to make more, so they'll be back in the fridge. But we love those. This one here has lunch boxes. Isabella doesn't use hers a lot, but if we go somewhere, I'll fill hers up. And then little lunch containers that I use in Joseph's lunchbox. I have a lot more, but they're in his, when I do my lunchbox meal planning, I fill these up. So they're in that area, which is in part of the pantry. So I won't show you that today, but that's what I use for my lunchbox meal planning. And Johnny's drink bottle. So that's the bin, which we don't need to go into. This, well, here we'll go through. So that's utensils that I showed you before, obviously. Here is all the wrappings and things that I need. So I have different size Ziploc bags mainly for lunch boxes and things like that. Freezer bags for doing my bulk freezing. Garbage bags live in here. Cling wrap, baking paper, and foil. That's all I need. So this is kept here, and I try to keep this as clean as possible in there. This drawer here is literally just vacuum cleaner stuff and then manuals for things. I keep them all together. This cupboard here is I call it cleaning cupboard. I don't have everything. I have more bleachers and stuff in the laundry, so Isabella doesn't get in here. She doesn't really go in here, but this is what I have set up. That is the soda stream, which if it's on the bench, I found it was just cluttery. It was up there and just annoying me. So I put it down here, and when I want to use it, I just pull it out, use it, and then put it straight back. Like, super easy, and I needed a tall space to store it, so that's why it's in this cupboard. Paper towels. This is my steam iron. That's all I use. I don't use a regular iron. This is all I need right now, so that works for us. If you haven't seen my ways to simplify your laundry video, go and check it out on the channel. It's in the Simple Sundays video section in the playlist, so go and check that out. And I talk about that. Over here, I see this little basket. I used to have this sitting up on the sink over there. Now, because it's got little hooks, I just have it here. So in this container here is usually like sprays that that's what I used to use it for. I used to put sprays in there that I didn't want the kids to see and go into, and they don't. Because they don't see it, they don't do it. These need to go in there. I don't know why they're out, but otherwise I just have dishwashing liquid sort of sitting here, and I just pull it out as I need it and put it back. I keep the plug, the dishcloth, and the bottle brush that I'm using at the time there. And then over here I usually hang, because I use paper towel a lot, but I usually hang my gloves here for dishes. And I used to actually, about 2 weeks ago ran out of this, the Method All Purpose, which I got on special at Big W. I actually like the brand a lot. I ran out and I thought, oh, I'll just go back to using my vinegar and water, so that's what I've done. So that's got nearly half vinegar and half water in there, and I just use that for a lot of cleaning, and sometimes on a tough stain I'll use bicarb soda, but otherwise this does the job. It's amazing. But you can't use it on wood, you can't use it on granite, that kind of stuff, okay, because it will, the acidic part of the vinegar will ruin it. So but otherwise I use this on mirrors, windows, lots of things. So that's actually really great to use if you're looking for a simple, quick, easy cleaning solution. This drawer here under here, so like I said, I work up here a lot of the day. If I'm in the kitchen and stuff, I put my laptop up there and do things, watch shows as I'm cooking, that kind of stuff. This is my work drawer. This is where I keep all my work stuff. So I try to keep it neat and tidy. No one goes in here. The reason I have this in here as well, one, to keep it clean and tidy, but two, because if I've got a container like this, Isabella just doesn't think to go into it. It's out of sight, out of mind with her, so I do that. I've got a candle here from which some days I'll pull out and just light it up and put it on the bench. Can you see that? It's my friend Shannon. That's her business, and they're amazing. How good's that? Oh, I wish you could smell it. It's so good. Anyway, I hide that. And I think just these two drawers is what I've got left. So I have, this used to be full of tablecloths and, I don't know, lots of things that I really didn't need. I ended up getting rid of them because I don't use them. I do have placemats in case I need them at the table. We don't use them often because honestly we don't eat at the kitchen table quite often. We sort of eat together in the lounge room and things. But they're there if we need them. I've got brown paper bags for Joseph's lunch order, which I've had this for the last 4 years. Like, I don't use them very often, but they're there. And I would normally have tea towels here. Tea towels, I'll talk about linen another time in another video, but I have maybe 4 and that's it. And then down here I have and then down here I have just some cookbooks that I've got, not many, but I just have a few little things. Mainly I get a lot of things online now, so I don't really need a lot of cookbooks. And then I have 2 cutting boards, well 3 technically, that's for fondant for cakes, and then I just have 2 of these, so yeah, that's all I need for those. The fridge, that's the only other thing I'd probably talk about. So I actually just cleaned the front of the fridge, so I moved these around. I've just put that back. That's just a special painting Isabella did, so we've put it on the front of the fridge just for the last couple of weeks because she really wanted on the front. But otherwise I tend to keep the front of the fridge clear and clean. The side of the fridge is where I have my calendar, the kids' job sheets and stuff, and then down here I usually have 1 clip for each child. So if they have certificates or do something special, obviously we have it on display for a little bit of time, and then I go through it and do what I need to do with it. I'll talk about that in another video, but otherwise the fridge I try to keep as clear and clean as possible, and I do try not to put things on the top, but obviously we've got spray up there so Isabella doesn't get it. It's like fly spray. And there's another special book up there of Johnny's that we just needed to put up there and get out of little people's hands. Oh, this cupboard up here also, I forgot about this one. So this is where I keep, we have tools in that toolbox, like things we use often, like screwdrivers, a hammer, things we use, obviously changing batteries all the time. We tend to go into that. So we have that up there, torches, spare stuff we might need in an emergency. That's our medicine box there, sunscreen, and then, oh, there's some things I need to sell behind there. I've just hidden them for out of little hands at the moment. And then this box here and here is usually Isabella's drawing things, because otherwise if she has them, she will run wild and draw on things now. So it's just something she started doing the last month or so. So now I've put everything up there. So yes, that's my kitchen, guys. All clean, organized. It's not perfect all the time. There are dishes out obviously there and things get messy and so forth, but it's a lot easier for me to keep on top of a kitchen like this with less stuff, I promise you. So give it a go. And you know, there are still areas that I would like to lessen things. I'd like not to need 2 coffee cups, you know. I mean, I could go without one of them, but it's one of those things that I'm just testing the waters with. But yeah, this is all I feel like we need now. That's what is practical for us in the kitchen. But there's always, every month I go through here and I get rid of things and make changes. And really that's what it's about, just figuring out what works for you guys. So that was today's kitchen tour, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It is more of a minimalistic kitchen obviously, but I hope it sort of encourages you not to be too scared and to tackle your own areas, because I promise you, if you start doing these things, your life is going to be so much more simple and just less stress, less anxiety. And we'll just give you more time to do the things that really matter most. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and make sure you click that subscribe button so you can follow more videos like this on practical minimalism for families. Make sure you check out the This Mum at Home blog. I'll leave the link below for more tips and things on how to simplify your life as a busy mum. But otherwise, guys, thanks for watching. Bye.